Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today. This one's going to be doing another character evolution video for today. This one's going to be talking about Carl from the Walking Dead comics.
Who the hell are you?
Okay guys, just going to be doing another video for today. This one's going to be doing another video for the Walking Dead character evolution series. This one's going to be talking about our first ever comic book evolution video, which is going to be on the one and only Carl from the Walking Dead comics. So, absolutely, I really love this suggestion when I got this one. I was very, very excited to hear that actually you guys wanted to see some on some Walking Dead comic book characters because honestly, this is a really, really cool idea because we've done a lot for the main show. We've done a lot for Fear the Walking Dead. Well, we've done a couple for Fear the Walking Dead, and we are going to do one on now one of the best characters in the Walking Dead comic book series, Carl Grimes. So I brought out a couple comics just to kind of show off the difference from 104, which you guys can see right here. There's 104 with, of course, Carl with the gun, and then if you flip it over right here, look what he's become now. Like, just, I don't know. And well, this isn't even really current, but I'm just saying, like, really later on in the comics, once they rebuild Hilltop and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. That is amazing. So anyway, that's really cool. It really makes me kind of upset with the TV Carl because I see this and I'm just like, man, he could have been this, he really could have been this. So, and that's nothing against Chandler Riggs. I'm just saying that I really feel like his character was better in the comics. But, so, you guys are going to have to kind of, understand one thing right here, though. I have not read the comics in a good few years. So, if there's some things I haven't, if I miss or if there's some things I kind of forget about, it's because I haven't read the comics actually all the way through, in at least since, like, maybe 2015, like something like that. Yeah, it's been a long, long time. So, if there's some stuff I miss, I do apologize for that, but I'm going to try to hit the key parts that really, push his character forward and stuff like that. So, we'll go through story arcs. So, first off, at the beginning of the series, during the Atlanta storyline, stuff like that, we obviously have the big moment, which I feel like is the biggest, start to a character like that, which is Shane's death. Shane's death, if you guys remember, Shane was going to kill Rick at the end of issue 6, and of course, Carl is there to basically save his dad. He's like, don't hurt my dad. You can see him crying, he's got the gun up, and he shoots him. And I remember that panel where you see it go through the neck. Man, that's absolutely crazy. So, in the TV show, they went for more of like the zombie approach. For this, Carl actually kills Shane, which is insane. So, Carl kills Shane, which is insane. So, I don't know. But anyway, so basically, let's talk about the farm storyline. So, around this time, I would say Carl is, a pretty big focus. But, of course, this is when he gets shot. So, this is a big moment, of course. But he's not the biggest character during the farm storyline from what I can remember. Aside from him getting shot, him being there, of course. And then pretty quickly in the comics, they don't really drag out the farm storyline as much as they did in the TV show, that's for sure. And, basically they're kicked off the farm and then we got the prison. So during the prison storyline, I remember Carl really does bond with Sophia a lot. I remember like that cover from the comics where you see them, holding hands and stuff like that. I remember that one very, vividly. But I will just say one thing right off the bat. This whole thing with Carl and Sophia, I was really for it at first in the comics. I was like, yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of cool how, and they kind of grow up together and stuff like that. And I like it. But unfortunately, things don't always go too well, of course, later on in the comics. But I really like their bond at the prison storyline. Now, obviously, we get the death of Lori during the prison storyline. We have a lot of that stuff that goes down. And, yeah, definitely Carl goes through a lot at the prison. But, because they're running out, they're trying to get out of the prison, and Lori back there just gets killed in a very brutal fashion. And I'm still not looking forward to seeing in the deluxe Walking Dead comics that in color. That panel with Lori getting shot in color, like, I don't know, something about that, just like, it's like, I don't want to buy that specific issue, like, I don't want to get issue 48 for some reason. I probably will, but, man, I don't know. That part of the comics is insane. So, Rick and Carl, of course, are out there. Of course, you've got, the end of the prison. That's gone now. They do go back to the farm, of course. And I remember around this time when we get the hunters, when we get all this kind of stuff, we do have, I remember, Rick that kind of protects, Carl, of course, and stuff like that. And we got, kind of the stuff with Billy and Ben. Now, obviously, this is like the Lizzie and Mika of the comics, of course, if you guys are not aware. But I remember seeing the panel I remember this one very well, when he just looks at Rick and he says, I killed Ben, and I remember that, and I'm just like, oh man. So that was a huge moment in the comics. I remember, because you basically give Carl the Carol part, except, obviously it's Carl, which Man, that's an interesting twist. I remember when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. So they go to Alexandria. Eugene lies. We find that out in the comics, of course, and we got that journey to Alexandria. Carl starts growing up a little bit more throughout this time. They adjust to Alexandria, and then you've got the No Way Out storyline, which is really exciting. And then, of course, we got the iconic Dad, of course, where we got, the eye shot. Now, this was big because they make him, like, kind of, have amnesia. And, of course, he asks about, Laurie asks about his mom. And I remember Rick, I remember that. It was in volume 15 we find ourselves. And I love that because it's a really, really crazy volume to actually see that stuff go down. And I just remember sitting there and I'm reading that and I'm just like, oh my God, like, are they going to kill off Carl? And, I remember when I was reading those comics, I was like, they're going to kill off Carl. There's going to be like a slow death type of thing going on. No, that's not the case. He actually does survive, and we get to see him survive into the Negan storyline, which, let's talk about that one. So Negan is introduced, I remember, when they cut them off, and then you've got the death of Glenn in the comics. And I remember very specifically, there's a few parts I'm trying to think back, but I do remember Maggie punched Rick. I remember Maggie punched Rick, and then didn't Carl, like, point a gun towards Maggie or something? I believe he did, right? So I'm just like, man, like, Carl is awesome in the comics, And it's just like, yeah, like, step away from Rick. Like, it was something like that. I don't know. And then, of course, Negan gets introduced, and then we get this stuff right here, which I absolutely love. So, if you guys remember, this was the part in the comics where we have Carl, he goes through, and he's wanting to get revenge, basically. In the comics, this is actually Abraham's old machine gun, and basically he goes and he, because in the TV show it's just a random gun that he finds in the back of a truck, but basically he sneaks out, of course, of Alexandria into this truck with Negan and the Saviors once they go for their first offering, which is in issue 103, and then in 104 he goes to the Sanctuary, and I remember you've got all this stuff with him shooting some of Negan's men, and he actually kills quite a few of them as well, too. And I just love it because it's so much better in the comics because you've got, like, this little kid, this little kid, not this, like, man that's, like, 18 at the time, who's supposed to be 12, apparently, so there's that as well, too. And he looks older than me. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so in the comics, it's a lot better because he basically shoots a bunch of them, and then you've got kind of Negan. He's really impressed by Carl, of course, and it's very similar, actually, that in the TV show and in the comics, except for the fact that he's a young kid here. I really like the way they do this, and I remember when he fires the gun, he just goes flying, which I absolutely love. But anyway, you've got the same thing. Let me see your eye. He, shows all of the, Negan shows him all his wives and stuff like this. Got the iron and stuff like that. So a lot of this stuff they do keep the same as the comics, which that's the one thing from season 7 I do appreciate, is that they actually did keep things pretty similar to the comics. So this issue is really, really good. I love this one a lot. So, and that is probably one of the best Carl parts of the comics. I love that whole thing. And in the TV show, yeah, it's pretty good. But in the comics, man, they killed it with that. So, and literally, Carl killed it because he killed a bunch of Negan's men. Which he also killed way more in the comics, too, I remember. So, we got the All-Out War storyline. We got a lot of that stuff that goes down. Carl's there for All-Out War. He does shoot Lucille, I do remember. And then Negan's like, he's so mad. And, of course, you got that stuff that goes down. And then we also have the, kind of the ending of the war. We got all this stuff, and then we got the time skip. So I remember in this part of the comics, this is when Carl kind of goes to visit Negan. They kind of give him that storyline, but they also give him the Henry storyline where he wants to be in blacksmithing and stuff like that. And this is when we get, in my opinion, another one of the high moments of Carl's character from the comics, where we get the Whisper storyline. Now, we get the Lydia stuff, we get the eye lick, which I'm sure we all remember. Yeah, let's keep it moving. But anyway, we got that stuff. We got, the Alpha, introduction, of course. This Maggie's there at the time, which I love this in the comics. I want to point this out because we don't have this in the TV show. I love this trio of Carl, Jesus, and Maggie in the comics because in the TV show, we literally only have, like, Daryl, Henry, Tara, is that what we're supposed to, like, is that what it's supposed to be? Like, Henry's supposed to be the Carl in the TV show. Jesus from the comics is, like, the Daryl in the show, for that storyline. And then we got, like, the Maggie is, like, the Tara. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, man, what a downgrade. So, I'm not saying Daryl. Daryl's probably the best thing out of the three, Henry, Tara, and Daryl. I'm just saying that, like, Tara and Henry, oh, man, that replacement, there's some suffering when it comes to that in the TV show. I really liked how they adapted it, but man, Henry just, oh man, it's not the same. So, in the comics, I remember there's some guys that are like beating up on Lydia, and I remember this when Carl comes by with the shovel and just beats the two guys up. I absolutely love that. I remember that very specifically. So he does go after Lydia once they take her and stuff like that. I remember this whole thing. We got the Whisper War that plays out, and then of course we do have the zombie herd. We got Andrea, of course, you know, who is bit, and we do get the death of Andrea in the comics, which is absolutely crazy. And then we also have so like after that, I was just like, okay, like what are they gonna do? You know, they killed off literally the best female in the series. And then you got, you know, kind of the Hilltop Reborn stuff. This is when we actually start getting into some of this stuff right here. And we do see him with I believe, doesn't he go with Lydia at first? And he's with Lydia, and then after the time skip, he ends up being with, you know, Sophia. And I remember, yeah, so they rebuild Hilltop, which it looks really good. And I wish they would do this in the TV show for season 11, Hilltop Reborn. But I'm starting to think they might just keep Alexandria, you know, and end The Walking Dead with Alexandria. And whatever stuff happens here, they'll just kind of have it be in Alexandria instead of Hilltop, because maybe budget-wise, they want to save their money for other things in the final season, and maybe they don't want to actually use Hilltop again as a location. Like in episode 17, Home Sweet Home, that could actually possibly be the last time we see Hilltop. I don't think it is, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. But I really, really like the way they do this. I thought this was absolutely, you know, just amazing how this whole thing went down. And then we got the death of Rick, which let's talk about that. So, man, I just remember like, I remember when Carl walks into the room and he just sees him as a walker, you know. Carl was broken in that episode, or in that issue, I guess I mean. And man, issue 192, that is just, I have it, but it's somewhere else right now. But I don't even want to grab it, because I'm just like, oh man, I don't even want to look at it, to be honest. But I just remember when he walks into the room and you see Rick. Oh man, you know, and then we go into a major time jump, so we kind of don't really see the repercussions of that. But basically, we get to see after that, Carl, many years later, the walkers have basically, you know, died out. They barely see walkers anymore. You've got, you know, Herschel, who is absolutely ridiculous of a character, and that is basically kind of his storyline overall, is that he has kind of, you know, honored Rick. He's got kind of Sophia now. He's got, you know, a daughter and stuff like this, and he's kind of reading the story of the great Rick Grimes, which I just thought was absolutely, man, it was really tough, but man, it was a darn good part of the comics. So, that is Carl's storyline all the way through. So in terms of a character evolution, from a little kid that doesn't know how to defend himself to a leader, I would consider him to be, and a father, and this and that in the final issue of the comics, an evolution for his character, I mean, honestly, what else could you ask for? I think there are times in the comics where I'm like, Carl's like my favorite character. Like, literally, sometimes I do say that. And in the final issue, I definitely did say that, because I'm like, man, this is just, it's incredible what they did with him in the comics. And unfortunately for the TV show, he's dead, which I can't even believe they did that. So, and just making this video, it makes me even more just enraged at Gimbal for doing that. So, man, anyway, I really, really enjoyed Carl's character in the comics. Guys, honestly, you know, big thank you to the Chosen One for suggesting this video. This was an amazing suggestion, and honestly, man, I absolutely love this, this kind of idea. And anything, you know, any other comic characters that you guys want me to kind of go over, I will definitely do that. But that is basically it for this video. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Write your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, click to subscribe and some saying about Walking Dead reviews. Follow me as Walking Reviews. Come, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Anybody out there?